Streaming now. Okay.
Now that offline should turn green.
There it started. Okay. Good. Right on. Now, how do I get it recording?
It's YouTube is recording it.
YouTube is recording it currently. Great. Now this is my inaugural stream. Fantastic. How you fellas
And
today?
also everything we say. So
Yeah.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you fellas turned out, and we can talk about some stuff.
There it is.
So,
Yeah, we are live. I'm looking at the chat right now.
so what good things happened to you guys today?
What happened to us
It's our-
today?
Yeah. We can get into some other stuff if you want, but I mean,
hey, send me that link to this, the YouTube link.
Well, my day's been pretty average. Going to work, coming back, and working on the creative stuff.
did you want me to send you the link? Is that what you said?
Oh, I found it.
Okay.
I had to scroll down a ways. Here we go. All right.
I have a fan running. Can you guys hear that? Any problems with the fan?
I can't hear it.
Okay. It's just on low. It's kind of... All right. Okay, well, today's been a good day for me.
Oh, that was weird. I just got kicked off for some reason.
I'm sorry, man. I had quite a bump in followers and stuff. I don't know about subscribers. I didn't look at that, but it's a good time. I'm lagging a little bit, I think. Am I good?
Yes,
I can hear you.
You're gonna have. Don't listen to your stream. Mute your stream on your control panel on the computer because there's gonna be a delay.
All right. Give me one moment while I plug in a headphone, so I'm not fucking with you guys. All right, that's better. All right, so I won't get any echoes now.
Okay.
We good?
I think we're groovy.
All right, groovy. So, what did you guys think of that? This has been a busy day. It's like the busiest day I've ever had on Twitter. Just talking with people and interacting and sharing my property and my girl. I think I've had a lot of success, and I hope it continues.
Yeah. Ren's been really good to you so far.
Yeah.
Nice of her to do that for you.
It was very nice of her. I appreciate her attention and her diligence. It was pretty good. Am I lagging?
No, I hear you
No,
just
it's
fine.
sound good.
All
I
right.
think we're good.
I'm just I keep seeing like the spinning thing on the window, and the live thing says it's like red right now. Is that supposed to be that way?
I mean, it's recording.
Okay.
No, it actually means that you got a weak signal going out. So you running anything else?
Oh.
Yeah, close all your tabs.
Close all my tabs. Like Hangout, like Google.
No,
Hangout?
not all the not the Hangouts tab. Not that one.
Okay, so like, what do I do? Like, can I keep Twitter up or not?
That shouldn't be taken up too much. You might want to close down that YouTube where it's monitoring the stream because that does eat up resources. Depends on what kind of hardware you're running on.
Well, it's an okay laptop, but I mean,
And sometimes it just does that. I'm seeing the wheel spinning on your feet on my screen too, so that means you are
lagging.
lagging.
So what should I cut? Like, I got two Google Hangouts right now, two tabs. There's an old one, I suppose, is the other one. Should I get rid of it?
Get rid of that, and then you can hit stop on on the Creator Studio. It runs a copy of your feedback down. You can hit stop on that, and you'll free up some resources too. Because right now you're streaming out and pulling the same thing back down.
Okay, so hit stop on creator feedback. Hit stop. Where we're at. I feel so stupid.
In your Creator Studio, you can see what your stream is doing.
Yeah.
Stop that video, and you'll free up some more resources.
And where's the button to stop? Just to pause or what?
Just like in a regular YouTube window in the video, you know, hover over the window and you should have a pause button.
Okay, so that pause right there, I'm pausing it. All right, we're still streaming. Am I lagging still?
Yeah, a little bit.
All right, I don't have a.
You'll have to ask. You'll have to ask Kira. She's watching.
Is Kira a you know, is she good at this stuff?
Sometimes I get that warning that my video feed has gone out slow regardless, and I've got fast internet and fast computer. And
well, I just turned off my. I'm on the same modem that goes on my desktop, so I turned that off, and so all I got now is I don't have my phone going. None of that's going. That's it. This is, I guess, as clean as it's gonna get. All right. I got another.
That seems all right to me.
I got another Hangout window. That's the one I'm seeing you guys on.
Mm.
All right.
Yeah, you want to keep that one open.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk. What you guys?
Please.
What you guys think of the randomness today?
I thought it was hilarious.
I tried to keep a good attitude, and we dropped somebody. Dropped Ninja. Oh well.
Oh.
And try to be
He'll be back.
and nice and polite to people. I think that's the best way to deal with people who have a differing opinion. And if I get mad, it doesn't really serve any purpose. But I am entertained by some people who are bantering back and forth.
You know, it's amazing to me how consistently dishonest that group of people is.
It
Tell
is.
me about it.
It is.
A lie is as easy as truth to them.
Mm-hmm.
All of them.
Well, they kind of operate through this idea that every person has their own truth. You know, but that's not the way the world works. There's only the truth. You don't get to have your own special narrative and call that truth just for you. You know. I see that a lot.
I do find that the moral relativism kind of breeds some cognitive dissonance every now and again, and they scramble to try to explain themselves when some inconsistencies come up.
Well, it knows no boundaries either. It's the media, it's movie stars, you know, it's all the journalists. They lie just like they're taking a breath. It's unbelievable.
Well, speaking of movie stars, it seems to me that they're getting so scared and so desperate to hurt us, like Comicsgate adjacent, any of the indies, and basically anybody that is a threat to their hegemony over the industry. That they seem to be trying to reach out to their Hollywood contacts to try and get them to castigate us as well.
Yeah.
Like, did you see recently with what's his name, Patton Oswalt?
Yeah.
Like
Oh yeah.
He's an actor. He's like, sure, he's a well known for being a nerd and all, but like he doesn't really have anything to do with any of the beefs that people have with the comic book industry.
Well, he's probably friends with some people, and
that's
just like,
that's what I think it is.
Just like with Frank Cho, apparently, somebody got in his ear, and he can say what he wants.
The Frank Cho situation is the one that baffles me the most. I think that's the one that's the most interesting, because when he was getting all of that flack from the feminists and the social justice warriors for drawing, Wonder Woman with like a panty line or something, or the whole drawing Gwen, Spider-Gwen as sexy, and Robbie Rodriguez, good old butthole Rodriguez himself coming after him. Like, it's always been the Comicsgate people who have been his most ardent supporters and defenders.
Well, maybe he hasn't noticed
that,
or maybe he feels his position is not secure, within the industry, and because of
I
past indiscretions.
I think.
And,
Yeah, I think they're afraid. A lot of the ones that would otherwise support us are probably afraid for their careers, and the ones that are, hyperbolic, well, frankly, nutcases, they just hate us for, being for one reason or another, and they just want to see us burn.
well, I mean,
Get ready for midterms this fall, because it's about to get nasty, and then it's going to go right into the next presidential campaign.
Oh,
And this is what we've got to look forward to for 2 years.
Yeah, pretty much, and we keep winning. Like, I'm sure you guys know by now that what's the second diversity in comics book? Iron Sights is printed. It's already printed. Like,
Oh wow.
he's just waiting for it
that's right.
to come to him so he can start shipping it out.
I
And,
wonder what Gail's going to say when she gets her eyes on the adjusted pages, and what she's going to say. I mean, I know she's had some really harsh critique on both, especially on Richard, on old Zach, and on on Canales. I think that what I saw could have been improved. I have to say that, but some of the criticism I think was a bit hasty,
Mhm.
But they're entitled to what they want to say, even though
Yeah, absolutely.
it
They
might-
have every
every-
right to roast it.
every
I mean,
book
that's
that
what he does.
Every book that she writes starts off with someone eating like a big plate of pancakes. I mean, every single story
I
she writes.
know.
It's so true. Like, I saw something online today where someone said she looks like the lady from Total Recall, the costume that he has at the airport.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one that glitches.
Yeah, I just sent her a tweet that said 2 weeks. So I wanted to see if she'd notice what that even meant.
On that note, I've been talking with Whiskey Paint, and I do believe we're going to do an establishing shot where Sugar is actually eating something as she's in frame, and it's not to, like, roast Gale. It's more like Rusty from, like, Ocean's 11. He was always eating when he was in frame, because he's always on the move. And Sugar's kind of like that too. She burns so many calories that she needs to constantly replenish.
She can
Right.
eat
Like the
whatever
Flash.
she wants and never get
Oh,
fat.
golly.
Yeah, and she burns and burns. She's like this little dynamo. So yeah, and that would be different than, say, sitting in a coffee shop with your pals when you're a superhero talking shit. And I have cats coming in trying to get on my laptop. Get the hell away from me.
This
Hey,
is
can
why
any
you
of you
don't
guys
get
hear me?
cats.
What was that?
Yeah, I hear you fine, Ninja.
Oh, okay, because I keep losing connection over here. I don't know what's going on.
Well,
Well, you
I hear
gotta
you good,
you
man.
gotta get the bigger internet package.
Yeah, I think so.
That's the first thing.
I think it's
when
my
I moved
fault.
into my new place, the very first thing I did was I said, like, what's the best internet that I can afford?
Well,
And then I went for that.
my internet's pretty good. I don't have the highest speed because I'm not a gamer, but, like, it should be all right. I hope so.
Mhm.
Do you hear me going robo or lagging any bit?
Every once in a while, but it's not too bad.
Oh,
We can still make you out just fine.
Shit. Okay. Well, we'll just keep on going. I was really quite. I had a good time today. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was.
Considering, like, other days on Twitter have been kind of dreary, especially when people start, fighting amongst themselves within our set. That I don't care for that much. The only-
Well, I think the sphere has kind of settled into a pretty relaxed chill over the last couple months.
I hope so.
Well, not couple months, but last month.
I-
Because I've noticed a lot less people kind of doing the whole infighting thing.
I hope
There's
not.
a lot less drama overall.
I hope that people see some of the great talent that's out there that we, that are in our kind of local group and others. I know that there are others, because when EVS did his thing where he had a bunch of people get on a tweet thread, a lot of people I had never seen, and I was like, wow, this is a lot of. There's a lot of people out there doing stuff, and then there are people like Maud, who I wish some people would really pay a lot more attention to, because he's doing great work, and I'm excited about what he's doing with my character. I wish others would really pay attention. He's got skills, and he's got the ability to put together a whole bunch of stuff. Look right there. You saw that right there.
I'm hoping that I can get this scheduled with Edwin and maybe Tug, and because that's really that's the only thing. I'm about 4 months into this, and I can't get anyone to
bite.
Even to promote
your 3D stuff.
Yeah, I mean, some of the smaller indies are, but they don't have the, they're having enough trouble getting people to buy their books. So
right. They haven't been able to get, because I know that like Ethan Van Sciver has mentioned your stuff once or twice before, hasn't he?
Yeah, and he has a number of times. I don't know what's going on with that. I think Ethan's probably a little bit like a goldfish with that. Like he's like, oh, that's a cool thing, but then he kind of quickly forgets about it and moves on.
Yeah, he's a bit flighty in his attention, it seems.
Well, and I know I can only imagine what his DMs look like every day.
Yeah, I mean, if mine was like, if his is like, exponential of what mine was today, holy shit! Because that was a lot of people talking to me and leaving mentions and yeah. So, hey, what's up? There you go.
Hey, how you doing?
How you doing?
I don't know why my camera all of a sudden turned on, but
I don't know.
Whatever.
That was weird. Yeah, it's a good thing you're handsome. So, Ninja, what are you doing, man?
Good thing I'm dressed.
Yeah. Ninja.
Yeah.
I'm gonna turn that off though.
So, are you have anything? What?
What's that?
Are you have anything you're working on currently?
I think I've got a bad connection.
I'm sorry, man.
Of course, I am running this off my phone.
It's all right. Hey, I just wanted to take a couple seconds just to address the chat since we got a couple people in here. First off, hello to my beautiful, lovely girlfriend, C Diddly D.
What's up?
Thanks for joining us. 1776er, welcome. He says the red wave is going to be more like a red tsunami. Considering how the left has been going completely insane, you might be right. Zach Hawkins, evening to you as well, and welcome.
I would imagine going into November this year, either right before the midterms or immediately after, the Department of Justice is going to go into Google and Twitter and all these other places and sort them out, and that's going to make people insane.
Oh yeah, I would expect some violence on the horizon.
I would think so, yeah.
I mean, that's what these people are desperate. Like they're desperate to keep their power, and they know that they're losing it, and they're losing it fast.
Stupid question. I don't want to interrupt you, but where is the chat? How do I get that stuff to come up?
Chat's at the bottom there of the stream. Not in your Hangout window, but on the actual window for the video on YouTube.
Okay.
And for in your control panel or your creator studio, it should be towards the bottom right. It's not in the normal spot like when you're watching a stream. It's kind of, you have to scroll down a little bit. You should see it down there.
Okay, so I'll go back to the dashboard.
Oh, 1776er says he heard Ethan and Edwin talking about you tonight. Now, 1776er, was that talking about Model or about Slick Jimmy? Because considering how Pardon the Paint Ren Famous has been going after Slick Jimmy, it could be him too. I'm not 100% sure who you're talking about. He has important pies to think about. Okay.
That was a good one. Okay, I'm looking I'm on my dashboard. I don't see a chat. Maybe I'm just being stupid.
Just go to your channel and click on your live video.
Yeah, that's what I do. And then I just take the pop-out chat and I put that underneath the Hangout. So that's the way I like to do it.
Okay.
I tell you what I do when I stream. If I'm doing my webcam and streaming while I work, it's not such a big deal. But if I'm running software and streaming, I'll open up the chat on like my tablet, and have it down below, and I'll keep everything else closed, and I won't have that feed coming back in. And that does seem to help. Sometimes it's just, and you know, it's Monday night prime time, and sometimes the streaming just isn't that great.
Well, I'm still in the red right now. I was green for a bit, but no. Okay.
Yeah, and that's not always accurate either. I've noticed that sometimes it'll say red, but the stream's coming down just fine. Because I'm looking at your stream right now in the chat, and I'm not seeing the wheel coming up. Every now and then it comes up for a second, but
well, I see like
all of a sudden it got way clearer.
I see like 5 watching, but I don't see like the chat. Oh, it says chat replay available now. What?
Are you live?
I think so.
And then if up at the top where there's like a tab that you can have top chat or live chat, switch that to live.
Where the hell is that? Top chat or live chat?
I always go for live chat. That's
live. Yeah, that's what you want.
Okay. Well, I have watching elapsed time. And where the hell is live chat? Huh.
It's a learning process.
We're still live, I believe.
Oh yeah, it's live.
Okay, top chat, live chat.
Yeah, we're still good.
Right. Live chat? Okay, there we go. I got it. I figured it out. The dumbass figured it out. Alright. Alright. Yeah, it was an interesting thing today. I didn't expect her to take notice like she did. I just kind of play with her a little bit. You know, I leave advertisements in her threads. I don't try to poke the bear too hard of her constituent, but you know, I think that
isn't she the one that coined the term yeast infection Barbie though?
She did, and I thought that was pretty funny.
I like that.
Yeah, I like the waifu thing.
She's annoyed by the character to begin with, so
it seems that she does have certain perspectives on it. I do like the idea of the ultimate waifu pillow being a sugar pillow. So that might be a thing.
I would love a Sugar Lightspeed life-size pillow. That would be fantastic.
I think
me and my girl could cuddle up to her.
I think her ideas, whether intentional or unintentional, are actually rather genius, and I'm glad that she suggested it. It's a good job.
Yeah, she has a good way of unintentionally helping you. You know, giving you good ideas, good nicknames, product potential. She's great.
Great memes.
Great memes. I think that if people,
I know what he's talking about.
I think if people treated her a little more gently, they might find they could use her attentions to their advantage. And
yeah, she is insane.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that's one way to look at her. I must admit.
Mm-hmm.
And so
but you know what? I think that the way that you handle your interactions with her is a really good example of how we should be modeling our interactions with the opposition in general. You know, like kill them with kindness. You know, don't let them get to you, because it's just like I saw this video a couple of days ago that somebody posted of this like this white guy who was arrested by the cops, and he's sitting on the curb, and he's just like there's this female black cop standing in front of him, and he's just staring at her and just shouting the N-word at her over and over and over again, and she's just ignoring him. Because the moment, and I realize that this is kind of like a really good parallel between us and the social justice crowd, is because, you know, like, as long as she kept ignoring him, he had no power over her, you know? Yep. And that's the way I think it has to be with us as well. Like, as long as we ignore them or just don't take their bait, then they have no power over us. and we'll be able to just continue to do what we do and create what we want to create and find success. Issue.
Well, and see, the thing is like they get so upset and I guess to use the word triggered over things that seem to be I don't know why they're so upset about it. I just not sure. But they're, like I said, they're allowed to have their opinion, and one of the best things I think is to just be kind and to thank them for their feedback if you feel like it, and maybe have a little humor, not too roasty, not too toasty, but you know, kind of kid glove them a little bit,
Have you ever seen any of the statistics of mental illness in this country?
I have.
Yeah.
Some say it's as much as 50%.
Well,
I mean, that's just insane. Not to.
I do believe we all have our own.
50% seems high.
I do believe we all have our own neuroses. You know, we things that make us anxious, but not to the point that it makes us incapacitated. The other day, I had an interaction with somebody online on Twitter, who I actually used the word neuroses, and she kind of got upset and accused me of not treating customers, how supposedly we always say that customers should be treated, and I said, well, everybody has neuroses, and I do believe that everybody has their own peccadillos.
Those statistics are accounting for all types, whether it's excuse me, allergy season here in Georgia again, but all types, whether it's antisocial behavior or depression, clinical depression. So that's including all those, but throughout that combination. So it just kind of lets you know that your chances of running into that online are incredibly high, and probably higher than the statistical range, just because of the internet allows, lonely people or anybody to get their voice out uninterrupted. So Twitter's a pretty unhealthy environment. I mean,
I do believe
it's useful and entertaining, but it's not a great thing.
Well,
Facebook as well.
It's because here's the thing, people have just gotten into this kind of habit of just getting pissed off over anything, and I say that's on both sides. I mean, the thing is so much of this stuff that's online in real life, in IRL, is inconsequential. It really is. Now, the fact that I'm kind of trying to promote a product here, I try to keep an even mean, because we preach, we got to treat our customers with respect, and prospective customers. And even if somebody has a disagreement with me, I mean, I said that to this young lady, that we just disagree. And she said, well, you're a nice guy, and I hope you have luck, but I can't support it anymore. And I'm like, okay. And I wished her, fair travels. And I'm not going to be mean about it. If that's how she feels, I'm not going to get upset about her. I'm not going to blow up at somebody because they don't like whatever I'm putting out there. And again, I people are calling this pornography, and I'm like, well, okay, what's the problem with that? Apparently, you guys are okay with all kinds of weirdness.
Yeah.
From what I'm
see, they're okay with female nudity as long as it's for some sort of activist sort of cause. But as soon as it's for anything remotely for entertainment purposes, then they become the most religious, puritanical people you could possibly imagine.
Well, who do you think's making all the pornography in this country? Who's doing all the body painting on Twitch?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they have no problems with.
Oh, you know who's doing the body painting on Twitch? Thoughts.
Thoughts. That anti-bully squad gal. That's that unicorn one, isn't it?
Zombie unicorn. Yeah. Oh my God.
And we probably shouldn't mention her too much. Because people are getting strikes just for talking.
Really? Just for talking about her?
The quartering got kicked off of Twitch.
Really? Oh yeah, that's right.
One stream.
That's insane. So she's basically using the mundane Matt style approach to the internet.
Yeah, flagorama.
They should get together. They're made for each other. I'm sure his wife's boyfriend won't mind.
Well, I don't even know what you guys are talking about, but I mean, you know, it is, you know, the internet is a weird, wild place, and the fact that people are getting all upset about the fact I'm doing a schoolgirl motif to my comic.
Yeah,
I'm just like, and they're accusing me of being unoriginal, and I'm like, it's a trope. I admit, but it's my own particular look at it, in my own particular story. I've been.
It's a pretty original take on the way you made that outfit, like how she kind of has the, it's like folded over for the shirt, so it's like accentuates the bosom and has like the really really short skirt and the high waisted panties.
Yeah,
like it does kind of come off as a much more unique look.
Well, it is very stripper. I know that. And, they call it porn star and all this other stuff. But then, if they give the book a chance, they'll see that there are reasons why I put her that way. And again, yeah, I am using sex and violence to sell a book. But I also am a damn good writer. I'm not going to downplay my abilities that way. I'm good. I know I'm good. I've read enough. I've critiqued enough, and I've seen enough other people to know I have some ability. And when I tell my story, people are going to see that there is more depth to Sugar and the general story than just a platform to show her, her body off, which just happens to be part of the allure. And I hope that people will take the time, maybe be drawn in by the very fact that she is quite attractive and titillating. But then when they start to read, they'll be like, I want more of this, not just because it's beautiful art and it's a cute looking gal and it fits the trope, but there's an interesting story that is going somewhere and has a destination along with Sugar's own saga. So anyway, that's what I'm hoping.
Well, I mean that's essentially the entire point of the comic book medium as it is, isn't it? You strike them with the visuals, which is usually the cover, and then you hope to hook them with the story and the characters.
Well, I hope so. I mean, there's a lot of some people might call mundane characters out there amongst our set that I think have a lot to tell once you get past the more banal look at some things. That I always think that you should make a striking image as best you can to draw in your readers and draw in your viewers. And then once you have them, don't rely on that. Give them some meat to chew on, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but also invoke emotions within them.
Yeah. Your story,
and you know what?
All stories should be evocative, you know what I mean?
Right, but you know what? Horniness is sort of an emotion.
I agree. It is a state of being, and that can be manipulated, I suppose. And some might say that I'm doing that. In fact, I'm damn positive they are because I've seen it. But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. That if you sink the hook, and then people find that there's a lot more going on than just a pretty girl running around in scanty clothes, because the reason she does that within her own world has a reason. When I was accused of not consulting any other females, well, they can believe what they like. I have talked to many different female writers of many different ages that are of age. I haven't put this before young people. And I've asked them. Some of them haven't liked it, and that's fine. And some of them they've really dug it, and they like it. And some of them are kind of middle of the road, and they love my writing because like I said, I'm pretty good at it. But they've been a little hesitant about the character, and that's fine. But I have consulted women.
If you put a 12-year-old boy in that outfit, they would think you were brave and courageous.
That's so true.
Transgender, you do have a point, and for somebody who wants to do that, I suppose there's a market for that. It's not going to be me, and I wouldn't put a 12-year-old girl in that outfit. There's a portion of this story that kind of deals with Sugar's predilections, and I'd have to be careful how I broach that and how I couch it, especially in a visual medium. But as I show her depicted older, and we can deal with that. I really don't want to get too deep into why she is the way she is visually, but it will be inferred. It will be talked about by the narrator, and people will discover her character that way. Am I cutting out? Am I cutting out?
A little bit.
Yeah, occasionally, but
You're fine. No, you're fine.
I can't tell if it's you or if it's me.
I think it's me because I keep seeing that little circling thing on the window.
Mm.
Maybe
I haven't noticed anything in particular all that bad.
I hope that in the future we can get some people in here that and you guys are great, but that understand that perspective that we've been talking about on I'd like to get somebody who has
Opposing viewpoints.
yes, I would like that. We don't agree on everything, and I'm glad we don't, but I'd like to hear from them, and I'd like to have them come and talk to me. Heck, I wouldn't mind Ren coming on. I really wouldn't.
No, yeah, I understand that. Like, well, there's so little healthy discourse within this sphere between the opposing sides. It's all just like, attacks on Twitter. Just like, oh, like he criticized my book and I'm upset and I'm gonna tell all my followers about it. And I'm gonna go criticize his book and well, we don't really get upset over that because we roast each other's stuff all the time anyway.
Right, and that's part of the fun of our set. We take each other to task, and I think that the fact that we do say some stuff gives us some introspection on what we're doing, and possibly making it better. In the long run. I mean, I have said some things like I left a couple of tweets to Joe Quesada. I have said some things. I didn't say them harsh. It's more tongue in cheek and pointing some things out. But I'm really not harsh. I don't calling names. I'm not doing invectives or ad hominems. But I have some things to say. But when I said to Ren today that if she gave me her PO box, I'd send her a little girl lethal gift basket. I'm completely serious. She does that when we have time to deliver. I'll give her a free set.
Mm-hmm.
I will, because I appreciate the light that she showed on me today. She may not want to have that at all, but that's out there. I'm serious. That's not just a joke, me poking at her and making fun of her. That's legitimately an offer if she wants it. And that goes to like you guys. They're my friends. I'm probably gonna just give you the digital for free. We'll see about other stuff. I may hook you up because you're my friends. But I'm trying to work a little PR here, because I think if people can stop bickering and ripping on each other, maybe we can kind of find a little common ground. And if we can find common ground with the sexy, well, okay. Most people like the sexy, and if you don't, I'm wondering what's wrong with you. I live with Mormons. I get the fact that not everybody's going to dig it, and that's fine. And I don't expect that. But I think that we can find common ground here, because the stuff that's coming out on our side of the divide is going to be good. I have no doubt about the stuff that being done is going to be of quality, high quality.
Mm-hmm.
Both in.
I agree. I have a lot of faith in this community, and I think Ninja could agree with me on this, with like what we're doing with the PTSD crew.
Oh heck yeah!
Yeah.
The positive Oh man,
It-
and it's so
there's-
good. All the
so many
positivity that's
checks
just
and
flowing
balances.
back and forth.
Yeah, there's so many checks and balances too, because we if you look at like the original sort of setup for the comic book worlds, like they would have like one editor on the book, maybe, or maybe like an editor and a assistant editor, but like we've got a whole community of editors. You know, we've got like tons of people who are not just like happy, like not just happy to be able to look at the work ahead of time and give their input, but who are excited about doing so. You know, they're proud to have had a hand in the creation of something, and I think that's a natural reaction for creative people and for people within this medium as well. Like I'm really excited, you know, just for getting drawn into a comic, even if it's something that I had to pay for, because it's just there's a little mark, you know, there's my little contribution.
Yeah. And
that's something that I think this entire community with the indies and the Comicsgate stuff that has going for it is it does have all those people, and not only that, but like the people that are making the products want those people to be rewarded for their efforts, not just with the work, but with the know-how, with the knowing that you've contributed to it, but also monetarily. You know, you see that with Richard Meyer with Jawbreakers and Iron Sights, where he basically puts out a call for a group of people to, you know, proofread stuff. They proofread it and he pays them, you know? And I think that's really great.
I think the overall is one thing I think that the community, as far as Comicsgate, needs to, and this has always been something that people have talked about, being decent, being kind, and there needs to be a lot more actually being decent and kind.
Yeah.
Rather than just saying it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it should be pretty much agreed that, okay, so someone doesn't like Ren, but the doxing stuff and all this stuff is ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely. And I found that when you stay positive and you don't let this stuff get to you, you tend to put a lot more of your energy into your work, because the drama takes up a lot of your attention if you let it, and it's all negative attention and negative, that sort of negative aura that you get focusing on that drama. It doesn't help you create.
No, there's no question. And then there are some people that, you know, aren't creators, period, so all of their energy goes into the troll.
Yeah, exactly.
Into the turmoil. Yeah, I don't get into it with anybody on Twitter just for that reason. I mean, I always have something better to do than sit and read on Twitter, but you know, I'm sure everybody's had that moment where you're sitting there reading something and you feel you're grinding your teeth and you just really want to deck someone. Well, and that's when it's like, okay, you got to get up and you got to walk away, because
I've said this before on other streams with other people. There was a time when I used to be on like writing forums a lot, and I was kind of I was a flamethrower. I got in, you know, flame wars, and it's a lot of, you know, it seemed like a fun mental exercise at the time, but it's just a lot of expended energy. And the older I got, the more it seemed like it just wasted energy, wasted time.
Yeah.
And
if you put that energy into something, you know, more creative and fun, you're going to get a lot more enjoyment out of it.
You're going to build.
That's me in the PTSD group. Like the whole thing, we were only supposed to do like one character each, and we just keep expanding and drawing more and more. Like I created a second character based off of some lore that we started thinking up, and it just kind of snowballs, and it's just getting more fun by the minute, you know? I'm looking forward to a point where we have something that we can kind of like show and reveal to the community.
Well, I'm waiting for it.
Because I think we're building up to something pretty special.
I think so
Oh,
too.
yeah. Especially when it comes from a community base like that, you just get all these people involved, and just to see the people communicating back and forth, they get into joking and having fun with each other. They never met each other before, but yet, they're becoming the best of friends online. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
quickly,
an
too.
amazing thing.
Well, the thing is
Yeah,
like it's always been. I've experienced this before with like writers groups. You kind of build this core of friends. Now the thing is, uh, except for like actual where I go and I sit down with people and we have luncheons every now and again. This is as close as I've ever gotten to some people because we're constantly interacting like throughout the day. We get on the streams and we talk with each other. We banter ideas back and forth. We have fun. We joke around. We rib each other a little bit, roast each other a little bit, and give each other a hard time. And I think that kind of camaraderie foments ideas and imagination.
Oh, unquestionably.
I do,
That,
and I
that's
do miss
that's
people
the
when I
time.
don't see them. Like I've missed Gal quite a bit since she.
Oh, yeah.
And if her health needs to be taken care of, that's cool too. I mean, she probably has things she has to deal with, and she's been commissioned by quite a few people. I see that she has to do stuff. So, but I do miss
Yeah.
her.
I'm glad that she's getting to work, though.
No doubt. Yeah, that's awesome. And I mean,
Yeah, she's going to be doing the cover for Sporkman Goes to Japan.
Oh, she
And
is?
yours
That is
truly,
awesome.
yeah, she's done the cover for that.
Shit,
And
I
yours
didn't know
truly
that.
is going to be doing the Ash Can if we get enough funding.
Right on.
Yeah, hopefully we do. Hopefully we do. It's a bit of a slow
Heck
start
yeah.
for Sporkman so far. So
Actually,
hopefully with time it
I
picks up traction.
actually feel like it's doing pretty well. I've followed some other campaigns along the way, and Sporkman's got more backers than some campaigns have gotten within their first, week? Or 2 weeks now.
Mm.
So,
I'm waiting for my next paycheck.
I'm just
to
saying,
throw that
I
down
mean,
there.
the Spork train seems to be moving pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm going to get Spork real soon. I do have some other commissions I have to pay for. So
Hey, I gotta ask real quick, Model, what are you working on right now?
I am building a mold box to mold these arms.
Okay.
And-
What are the arms for?
I've already poured this for another job, but I've already done the body,
Okay. Cool, man.
and I pulled that mold this morning, so I'm trying to finish this up.
Right on. Sorry, I had to interject with that. I was
That's
just
cool.
really curious.
No, this is my least favorite part of anything I do is cleaning up two-part molds.
Yeah.
It's just not enjoyable.
Like, is it because it's like really tedious work?
It's really tedious, and you can't, if you fuck up, it's costly.
Oh.
So basically what I have to do is I have to embed half of this model in clay and sculpt perfectly up to the model, and then pour half the mold, and then you flip it, pull all the clay out, and pour the second half, and this is establishing the parting line in the mold.
Okay.
So it's really tedious and boring, but it's so important that you have to just kind of grin and bear it and suffer through it, and
Right
do the best job you can.
Do the do.
Do the do and the funky chicken too.
What a great story, Model.
that's pretty cool, man. I like watching when he was doing sugar a little while ago, and I was watching a fair amount of the day while I was
It's
working.
right
Kind of just
Oh, I
kept
haven't
it on.
seen this yet.
And it's really cool. Like I've worked.
Oh,
With,
you didn't see that?
I've worked with artists before who've done this similar kind of stuff, doing maquettes and things. And it's really cool to see it take shape and just kind of form out of the constituent parts that they make. A friend of mine, I've talked to Maud about. His name's Clark. He did these kind of gigantic statues for this convention once, and we're in his shop, and he just starts with all these parts and pieces, and over about 3 days, this huge 15-foot woman with that's holding like a big globe in her hands. It's a monumental thing. It's made out of paper mache and shit, but when he's done, you're just like, wow, this big golden statue that you kind of wish was something they weren't going to toss away after. But it was pretty amazing to see it just kind of
Cool.
come out of nothing.
Yeah, I've done a little bit of maquette stuff, just one model for a character design course when I was in school for animation. That was it, just the one. And of course, it was my boy J-Pop.
You did J-Pop?
Is that the one of him eating the bowl of cereal?
Yeah. It's the cereal one.
Nice.
Cool, man. It looked
See,
good.
I'm already
yeah.
a J-pop fan.
I don't like that.
Avengers for Life is what I'm at, actually. Avengers for Life.
Avengers for
Oh, me
Life,
too.
man.
I'm all about that Revengers and PTSD.
See now, and especially with Troy being in there, and then he was like, yeah, this is from the one-to-one universe. And it's like, did I already ask this? Didn't I already ask if this was happening? Crossovers?
Yeah, well, I mean,
known.
Troy is he's a creative marvel. He always brings his A game to everything that he does, and then especially when you're in like a group kind of setting like we are with PTSD, like it just makes everybody else kind of want to step up their game and try to like bring it up to his level or even try to surpass it in some others cases. But it was cool because like he saw my design and then he was just like, oh, you know what? Scrap that old one. Like I gotta step up my game. So I was quite happy that I was able to inspire that in him. But it's sort of it's a cyclical thing when you're in a group like this because it's like everyone's kind of like as soon as they produce something, it just kind of creates other ideas, ruminating in their heads for all the rest of them. Like when we started with the ball kits, we created this little race of kind of helper creatures called the ball kits, and we created a lore for them, a backstory, how they got to to where they are, and what they do, and the look of them. Like we had one of the girls in the group design them because she wanted to do something cute looking. And then I wanted to take that cute thing in the vein of, rainbow brutes, take that cute thing and make it badass. So I then created another character who was part of that race and kind of goes against their grain of how they kind of are. And it's stuff like this, like you're talking, you're chatting, you're joking, you're laughing, you're bouncing ideas off of each other, you're asking for help and giving it whenever they ask for it, and you just kind of start to really gel and create, and it takes form, and it really starts to move too. It's going fast.
Well, and it motivates you to get up and do something. When you're around other people and they're producing, you're less likely to sit there and not produce anything yourself.
Yeah. And I found like when I was like after college, because I had a friend in college that I would collaborate with a lot, and we would be in a similar kind of creative situation where we would bounce ideas, we would critique each other's work. We'd constantly be putting out stuff to try and one-up each other and inspire as well. And ever since I left school, like I didn't really have that until I stumbled upon this whole Comicsgate, indie comics kind of community. And now, like I'm full of like I had like no ideas, like I had no drive. And now I have more drive and ideas than I know what to do with.
That's nice, man.
Heck yeah.
It's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
A lot of cities are opening up maker spaces. Are you familiar with that concept?
I'm not. I live in a very staid sort of area.
The larger cities, they're opening up these things. They're called maker spaces, and someone will rent a space. They'll put a CNC router in there. They'll put a 3D printer in there, a laser cutter, and then you can go in there and pay like an hourly fee and go in and use all this stuff, and those places are booming right now. And it's the same kind of thing, because people are in there and you get more ideas. You see someone doing something and you want to try yourself, and that's something that I'd really like to see catch on.
I think this whole community is something really special, and I think that kind of comes back around to like why we get so much opposition from the social justice, feminist, quote unquote pro comics community, because I think they also realize how special it is, and they're afraid of it overtaking them and taking the power away from them.
Well, it raises their bar, and they don't want that to happen.
Well, no, they've been coasting on their name, the Marvel name or the DC name for so long. Like, they can't afford to be held to a standard anymore.
You know, how many times can you remake something or just slightly change the flavor of the person in a costume, or just do a costume rework, start everything over?
Yeah.
It's astonishing to me how many Spider-Man movies have been made.
Amazing.
Yeah. Of various quality.
Spectacular.
Astounding.
Astounding.
The astounding Spider-Man.
Hey, why not?
The lackluster Spider-Man.
Well,
You mean the Garfield version?
I was watching or reading something about them dissing on the Tobey Maguire films. I liked the first two. The third one had its problems, but they're like all.
I feel like
what you mean, like the dance number.
Oh yeah, things like that.
The dance number in Spider-Man 3. Yeah, that was terrible.
I actually I have a little bit of a soft spot for Spider-Man 3. I feel like similarly to Blade 3, it had a lot of potential, but it was squandered by studio interference.
Yeah.
Blade 3 wasn't squandered by studio interference. That was just David Goyer.
I actually liked Blade 3 up to a point. I think it was kind of a mess structurally. But
absolutely.
I think its players, actually, they had these great people in it. I actually like the what was the Dracula character? What's his name?
Yeah.
I like him.
Me too, but I had a lot of issues with how they handled Dracula.
Yeah.
A lot of issues.
The 3D was... Yeah, but I liked him.
Well, not even just the 3D, but the fact that they established this really great design for his, like, you know, true vampire form, right?
Yeah.
And they never, like, they hardly ever show it. You know, They show it, like, once, like, two times. Like, once is when he, like, dies, and then once in the shadows, like, briefly, where you can barely see him. Like, it seemed like an absolute waste of a good costume.
Well, I think they had mismanagement of where they allocated their funds, probably, and they had to kind of fudge it a little bit. But
yeah, I think that's true.
I have to admit, there's been very few comic book movies that I've liked ever.
Really?
I
just don't enjoy them for some reason. I'm not sure why.
Well, I have. There are the standouts to me in the genre. Overall, they seem to be fairly cookie cutter.
Maybe that's what it is. It's just like okay, let's just do this and make a few million, and
the repetitive nature.
There's not a lot of care put into them.
I mean, I don't know.
I can't say the same about things like Infinity War, because that had a lot of care put into it.
Well, they had to build it in such a way, and then they had all these characters they had to manage, and I think they did a good job for such a massive cast. I think they did a pretty good job. It was good, and that's one of those ones. Like I said, they're the standouts, and then they're the ones where you're just like, another adventure, and but then there are films that just get my goat, like the Ghost Rider films. I love Ghost Rider.
They're just pure entertaining, and they're just goofy as can be. I
guess. Sorry, that first one was just virtually unwatchable.
Oh, they're bad.
Like
they're both
they're both terrible in their own way. But again, like there are parts of the Ghost Rider that I loved. I did love the Ghost Rider design, like when he's on his bike and rolling. Holy shit!
And some of the action shots were very cool too.
Yeah.
Like where he rides off of the top of that building, and then he swings the chain around, grabs the building, and pulls his motorcycle to the building and rides down the side of it.
Yeah, really cool.
That is an insanely cool visual. It's just a shame that the story sucks so much.
And they're stealing that from. I mean, those are some. If you've read a lot of Ghost Rider, they're stealing it. It's from the comics. That's why the best parts are the Ghost Rider himself. The fact that the casting was an interesting choice for Johnny Blaze, and Nick does. He eats scenery. He certainly does do that. But then again, like his chemistry with what's her bucket? It was.
Was it Ava Longoria?
No. Oh shit. She was also in Training Day. That's. Anyway. But you know what I'm talking about, right? Their chemistry was just. Bleh. It was like the two kids at the first who play their characters at the very first. They had way more chemistry than the adult versions. And then, like, the story was just kind of haphazard with the demons. I would have kind of built things better. I did like Sam Elliott.
Yeah.
Sam Elliott was he's Sam Elliott, so.
Sam Elliott's always quite charming. Yeah. You know what? One of the things that I really disliked about it was the fact that Ghost Rider, they stuck so true to his comic book design, and that's what really made it work. Like, it looked fantastic.
Yeah, the aesthetic of the transformed character was amazing. The aesthetic of the regular character, the human character, was not.
My point though with this was that it was not so much that it was that they stuck so true to the Ghost Rider's design, but when it came to the villains, they just like completely ignored their original designs. Like Mephisto, Blackheart,
terrible,
awful. I was really looking forward to seeing Blackheart on screen. Like,
so was I.
He was,
and
then it was just like, oh, like his face goes pale and his eyes go black. Boring. Like, we haven't seen that a million times in like 2,000 different college film student videos.
Well, it would have been nice to see. Peter Fonda as actually Mephisto, the Mephisto we know. That would have been really cool.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of things you could have done with the design for Mephisto to like kind of make it work on screen.
Yeah. And
I would have loved that. Like, as soon as I heard that Mephisto was going to be in it, I was just like, hell yes. And then as soon as I saw him, I was like, God damn it, no.
You know, that scene where Nick Cage is riding down the road maniacally laughing, that is just way too much.
Yeah.
That was a...
Like, he's over the top. He chews the scenery. He does. And, I think that they've miscast him. There are characters that they could have put him in the Marvel universe or the DC universe that would have been great. But I mean, people miscast all the time. Jason Momoa should have been Lobo, and I've seen some suggestions of Jeffrey Dean Anderson as Lobo, which I think would be another great choice for that character because I'm a big fan of Lobo. But
Jeffrey Dean Anderson.
He's the guy who plays on Walking Dead. He's Negan.
Oh, Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
That's it, Anderson? Shit, I'm an idiot.
You said Anderson.
Morgan.
That's
what I meant.
I don't know. You know what? I definitely agree with you on the Lobo side of things because Jason Momoa was basically born to play that role. Yeah. He looks exactly like Lobo. Like, how they were ever able to look at him and think of any other character than Lobo, let alone Aquaman of all people.
Yeah, it makes the mind boggle.
Hey, wasn't he in the remake of that Conan movie too?
He was good. I liked him as Conan. I think that they needed to do some other the effects and things were a little bit they were lackluster. But I think he was a great Conan.
They should have tried to do more. I think they should have tried to do more practical effects for Conan.
Yeah, definitely.
So it felt a little more visceral, a little more real. And also, it should have been rated R. Making a PG-13 Conan movie is
Absolutely.
the stupidest fucking thing.
Absolutely.
I mean,
rated PG-13? I thought there was titties in it.
No titties.
Conan is one of my favorite properties of all time.
Yep.
I was a big fan of the Arnold Schwarzenegger Conan movie as a kid.
Oh, they're great.
Especially the one with where he has to fight the giant snake. That was that was my favorite part.
They are.
Oh, yeah.
They are fun.
Conan the Barbarian.
I am a bit
just
of
like-
a purist.
I like
though.
when he punches the camel. When he punches
Also a great moment.
I am a bit of.
Man, I tell you, we haven't really had. Sorry.
I am a bit of a purist when it comes to Conan, so I've always had a little bit of a peccadillo about the fact that they didn't make his hair black and his eyes like blazing blue, and they could have. But you know, as it was, it still was pretty cool. I just wish there's one thing I wish they would have done when they did the Bridget Nielsen Red Sonja, and they put Schwarzenegger in it. They should have just made him Conan, right?
Yep.
Anyway,
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway, so you
I
have
didn't know about the Red Sonja. I've never seen it.
Well, it's just kind of schlock, but you know,
Yeah.
if they had made it a Conan Red Sonja film, it would have been really cool because it would have been like there would have been a trilogy. Plus, it would have introduced her, and I don't know if we're ever going to see a Red Sonja film for a long time.
Well, there's talk about them doing a Red Sonja movie right now.
Yeah, but they're gonna
I just saw a reason.
They're just gonna fuck it up, you know.
Yeah, well, especially in the climate of Hollywood today, there's no chance in hell they wouldn't fuck it up.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that she wears the metal bikini alone would be enough to make most people in Hollywood have a tism fit, you know.
Well,
and they'll anguish over who plays her, and it's just ugh.
Well, for a while,
So-
Robert Rodriguez had I guess he had optioned the property, and he was going to have Rose McGowan play her, which I actually, at the time, I think would have been a good choice. I mean, she is a beautiful.
Oh, how times change.
Yeah, she was a beautiful woman. I'm sure she's still rather handsome now, but I mean, she's just gone.
Well, I remember that. I remember that because I think that was actually even in Wizard magazine that they were talking about that, wasn't it?
They were going out together.
Yeah,
she broke up his marriage to his original wife, and that was when she was in Terror Planet and all that, and there was talk of her doing Red Sonja, and I thought actually that was a good choice because of her look. I
disagreed.
What?
I thought she was a terrible choice right from day one.
Well, I mean, if you did the hair right, and she had a killer body. I mean, I don't know what she's now like, but she did.
Yeah, but she didn't have a muscular body. She wasn't fit.
You put her in a little training for 4 or 5 months, and you can fit her up.
I think she'd need a little more than 4 or 5 months. I think she'd need a full year.
Yeah, and
to get the Red Sonja bod.
But I definitely think she should have the metal bikini, and then she should have her her fur cloak that she usually has, and make her what she is. She's this. The Hykarian, out of the Eastern Steppes. And I don't see them doing that now. If you guys have read Gail Simone's time on Red Sonja, she's still, I think, doing one. She's doing one of them now. I like Red Sonja and Tarzan of all things. But she did a run on Dynamite's property, and she tried to get, you can see it, she tried to get away from the metal bikini for quite a few issues, and it just didn't fly. The metal bikini is kind of iconic to Red Sonja, but I see today,
it's just not Red Sonja without it.
If they did a film, they wouldn't put the metal bikini, they wouldn't do it. They'd try to hodgepodge it or something, or make her into a...
I've actually thought about that, and I always had this fun kind of idea in my head for how to kind of raise two fingers at that kind of climate in a Red Sonja movie, where you kind of start the movie off and she's got a full thing of armor or something. Maybe she's in disguise or whatever, trying not to be noticed. But then she gets noticed and she's kind of getting her ass handed to her, right? And then she kind of manages to take off all of the armor until she's down to her metal bikini, and then she wrecks house because her strength is her speed, you know?
Yeah.
And like make it kind of like have that sort of opening establishing of like why she wears the metal bikini. You know, it's not because she's
has been
addressed and she has
before.
to rely more on her speed because she can't be as strong as the guys.
Well,
you know, you're living in a world of what is it, Hyboria?
Yeah.
And you've got all these like big muscular, you know, hyper strong barbarian type guys. Yeah, you can't just go strength for strength on that.
Well, and see, here's the thing.
It may not seem like it right now, but Hollywood is watching, and they know that no one's into stuff right now, and the money really does matter at the end. That's all that is it's an investment like anything else. They spend so much money, they expect to get so much back, and there's so many people in the mid stream right now of the creative process who are only interested in the message.
Yeah.
But the people that are putting up the money to have this made, they're not doing it to put out any kind of social message. They want a return on their investment.
Yeah.
Right, and that's why I think it's going to be really interesting watching how Marvel reacts when Captain Marvel comes out.
Well, it's. I'm guessing it's going to bomb, right?
I don't think it's going to bomb, but it is not going to do nearly as well as they're expecting it to do.
Well, I
wouldn't.
I'm holding my
I wouldn't
tongue.
go.
I'm not going to go. Here's the funny thing.
I'm not going to go either, and I've been watching every single Marvel movie like at least twice in the movies.
I went into Infinity War. That's the last one I went to, and that's the last movie I've gone to. I used to be, like I said, I used to be in the film sector and television, and I would just be a huge cinephile. I just watch everything, and I watch movies and videos and go to movies all the time. And we'd have parties. Friends of mine, we'd have parties and watch movies. And I have no desire. Like I go and look on the Redbox or the Netflix, and I kind of scroll down, and I look for schlock just for fun stuff that I can just escape. And half of the stuff I start watching, I hear something in there that just causes me something woke, and I'm just like I turn it off. And so like
something woked this way comes.
Yeah, and it's happened with television too. Like I don't turn the television on. I don't watch movies. And you're talking to a man who lived and breathed film for about 15 years. And I've just I've gone away from it. I'd rather create my own shit and not have to deal with anybody else. And there was a time,
here.
Yeah, there you go.
Too.
Well, that's the thing. You can't get away from politics anymore. It's Twitter, it's Facebook, it's every movie, and that's you're going to spend all that money for escapism, and then you're getting hit by politics again. I mean, it's everywhere you go. You cannot get away from it. It's on the news. It's on the Weather Channel. All of a sudden, they're talking about Trump and global warming, and it's like,
sports,
are you kidding me?
Everything.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
But the one thing that we can always kind of take comfort in is that the old movies are still there and still awesome.
Well, that's what I do.
Yeah.
I have a big library of film. And I still buy older film and things that I kind of fill in blank spots that I've wanted. Those are things I order from Amazon, and I have this big wall of film. And when I'm bored, I'll put in something I haven't seen for a while, and I'll enjoy it. Like the other day, I watched a film called The Cooler with William H. Macy, and it's one of my favorite kind of like Las Vegas noir films. And I just sat back and watched this thing, and even though it left me with a good feeling because it's something I love. Whereas when I watch films from like Redbox or something, I'm looking for the gem in this pile of dross that used to be fairly often. I'd find a good film that I could like add to the library. It's very seldom now I find when I'm like, I gotta buy that.
If we stay on our current course, though, those classic movies aren't going to be safe either because they're changing books now.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
They're changing classic books. They're editing things out that are offensive to people.
That is not okay. That's revision of history.
I watch one of these days. Mel Brooks will release a new version of Blazing Saddles. It's going to happen. It's coming unless things really change.
Blazing Saddles is one of the funniest movies still.
And
I can still watch that and it's laugh.
And they would never make that movie today.
I know.
They'd never make a lot of films today. Like, I mean, do you think Pulp Fiction could get made today?
Oh God, no.
I mean,
you think Alien could get made today?
I mean,
the original Alien would never get made.
I don't know, man.
Ever.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a slow burn, man. It's a slow burn. Like modern audiences wouldn't put up with that because it starts too slow.
It's definitely it definitely has a noir feel in its horror, and it's slow. It goes from like a traditional kind of. It kind of feels like 2001 a little bit, Space Odyssey a little bit, and then it just moves in a different direction. And
I disagree. I don't think it feels anything like Space.
Well, no,
Odyssey.
it doesn't feel like it's not its texture, but it starts out in that kind of like slow moving thing. It's not. Of course, you're not getting like a symphonic thing where you're watching for 5 minutes of something. Kubrick.
I'll tell you, for me, there was a very distinct moment when I was watching a movie and I said, okay, this is getting crazy and it's ridiculous. And it was that Superman movie where he just tears the city apart. I was watching that going, okay,
Man of Steel?
Whichever one it was, where, I mean, the skyscrapers are falling and tipping over.
Man of Steel.
And it was explosions and bombs for like 45 minutes. And I thought, we're not going to get good movies anymore. We're going to get 3D rendering, and just it's going to have to be this visual onslaught so that people don't sit there and get bored. And it's really, that seems to be the way things are progressing.
Yep.
Well, I mean,
I think
I call
one of the ones that really killed it for me. Yeah, one of the ones that really killed it for me was Batman v Superman. Like, ever since that movie came out,
I've not even seen it.
It's so bad. It is just unbelievably terrible. Like, I cannot believe. I still have a hard time imagining how hard it would be to make all the decisions that were made to make that movie. To fuck up not just Batman, but also Superman that hard.
Yeah, it's...
I think the Transformers movies really started to usher in that visual overload.
Yeah,
where you don't even need to have a script. You don't even need to have a script for the characters to read. It's just one CGI scene and comp scene after another.
Yeah, that's the quintessential.
That's not fun at all.
That's the quintessential. Those movies are the quintessential visual diarrhea movies, in my opinion. But it's kind of...
They keep making money.
Yeah, and they do. I mean, whatever you want to say about... what's his bucket?
Michael Bay.
Michael Bay. I mean, he does make money. He knows how to do it, and Lord love him. He keeps making his movies. But again, they've affected the rest of the industry, because a lot of films try to follow that formula. I don't think Marvel has necessarily done that with theirs. They have a different formula, but it's getting a little pedantic now. And people are talking about it.
Yeah.
So
it is starting to feel a little bit more like a formula. Hey, welcome, Tank.
Morning.
What's up, man?
Hey, how's it going, bro?
Good evening.
Good evening, Tank.
Well, actually, it's morning.
It's morning for you. We should call Sashi and see if she'd come on. I was talking to her quite a bit earlier. See if she'd ever come on.
So she can make fun of me?
I don't know. She likes you guys. But like, here's the thing.
I know. She just rips on me a lot. I like it.
That's kind of her set. She hangs out with Nurkish and
Nurkish has been in rare form lately.
Oh yeah, since he came back, man, he has just taken people apart. And then him and Cecil. So Sashi kind of rolls with that crowd, but she's a good heart. She really actually is. She's dirty as shit, though.
Oh, I think so. Yeah, I think so too.
It's a cultural thing once again. Trust me, when South Africans get going, we can be pretty fucking nasty.
Well, she's naughty. She's naughty. But she's good.
Yeah, well,
she's a good gal.
just look at the picture she posted of herself.
Yeah, and she says that she has even she did other work under another pseudonym that was even more controversial.
Yeah. No, I'm just catching up on everything. I see you guys managed to break Blue Hairs herself.
Oh, Ren Heinous.
Oh, she's
Josh, share that meme if you can.
What meme? The meme of me?
Yes.
I
don't know how to bring it up.
I can do that. All I gotta do is share my screen.
My fucking word.
Well, and then somebody posted those pictures of her on the playing cards, and it's like, jeez, these people.
You gotta find it again. It
the
gets
playing
buried
cards?
so quickly.
Those are pretty tame. I mean, even if you saw her nipples, they're pretty tame.
Well, sure, they're tame, but I mean, what is she worried about? I mean, what is?
Well, Sashi doesn't give a crap.
No, I'm talking about Ren.
Oh, Ren? I don't know. I'm not sure what her I just think it's the opposition she feels the need to address. I think that's what
just to
what it is.
Take the counterpoint
Yeah.
always.
I think she's so invested in being the devil's advocate, or from her perspective, the angel, that she has a hard time seeing the opposite. But again, like when I talk with her, I'm polite, and I actually DM'd her and told her I wished her well and success. I did that a while ago, and no response. That's fine. But again, like I'm anybody who's come at me ever, I've tried to be nice if they have their open DMs, and I try to do that.
I think she's working towards a position with one of these companies like DC or Marvel.
I do think that might be.
Oh, I guarantee you she's going to get a #1 in a couple months.
She got the attention of Joe Q, so I mean, Joey Q can put her in all kinds of positions. So let's see. And
she's on a mission.
There you go, guys.
And if that's what she wants to do.
Oh,
if that's what she wants, that's fine. More power to her to try to make her dreams come true. I just don't have to agree with everything she does.
This is a little meme that that Ninja made of me today. I am Josh famous.
Had to be a Team One Pool T-shirt as well. Perfect.
Well,
holding up to OK Son. I'm going full white supremacist here.
It's got to be Team One Pool for more representation.
You need a cup you drinking out of, like something tears like she has.
I don't know about that. You have to talk to Ninja about that. He's the one making the memes.
all right.
Did you do that, Ninja?
Meme something up for you.
Just slap that up.
It's literally, I'm just looking at this. After yesterday, there's probably going to be so much more eyes on the few of the things we're doing. It's, in a way, it's actually good.
Well, I hope that people start seeing all the talent that is out here that hasn't necessarily been addressed as much as, say, other pros.
The fact that the big Twitter followers, guys like Loping, Kate, Ian Miles Chong followed Spork.
Yeah.
Nice.
These are big followers.
I got a like from you yesterday.
They start focusing here.
I did get
exactly. So
I mean, that's one. I've got like 2 in forever. So
look, it's only going to mean something that actually starts translating to, Indiegogo backings and things.
Sure, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But for the most part, it's a start. My little idea from yesterday gained a bit more traction. I've been following the analytics on that tweet. It's not big, I mean, using the big hashtags of the day to promote the Indiegogo. I mean, let's just see if this thing opens. 437 impressions, so a lot more people did see it than I have followers. And I had 11 total engagements. Now, the one that I'm always looking at is link clicks. They still only went to 2, but that's more than I normally get.
Huh.
Well, my friends, speaking of addressing things, I think I'm going to have to spend some time addressing my sleepiness.
Hey, that's fine, man. I'm glad you showed up.
Yeah, no, it's always good to talk to you guys. I love you, but I gotta get to bed.
I'm sure that you've been
All right.
working
Thanks for
hard
dropping
on
in,
stuff,
Josh.
So you go rest.
Always good to talk to you guys, and to always happy to give a little bit of teaser of the things I'm working on. Keep an eye out for PTSD. It's gonna be fun.
Right on, man.
Heck yeah, it is.
Have a good night.
All right.
Sleep well.
What's that?
Have a good night and
All right,
sleep well.
yeah, take it easy, guys.
I think that'll be probably a good time for me too. It's 11:30, and
Yeah, same.
If
I have to shut down like 2 hours before I ever hope to fall asleep, or it takes forever.
I
so.
understand that, man.
I get
it. Well, if
All right, well,
Tank
it's been
and
real, my
Ninja,
friends.
if Tank and Ninja want to hang out for a couple minutes, we can do that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm still around here
Yeah,
for
we're
another
good.
50.
All right, that's cool. I got
Or
about
I'm good anyhow.
I got about 30% on my battery, so we got a little bit of time. All right, let me see what I got. We're looking at.
All right, you guys have a great night.
Take care.
We'll see you later.
Take care, Mod.
catch you later, bro.
Thanks for the help.
Goodbye. I was just looking at the stuff I wrote yesterday, and I'm kind of sitting here. You know what? I'm actually going to rewrite the whole part right now because I did something for no fucking reason, and I was like, "Why did I do this?" So I'm pretty much just gonna scrap the whole part and start rewriting again.
What was that, man?
I was playing around with one of the other mechanics that could happen to ethers, and yeah, cool. This seems like a good idea, but it amounts to fuck all. So the whole question is, why did I do this? It's like this is like throwing. What's a good way to put this? Throw it around. Yeah, fuck. What movie did it? You reveal your big weapon, but you don't use it. Essentially,
That you made a big reveal, but you didn't do it properly. Is that what you're saying?
I didn't use it. Yes.
Well, I mean, and that's just a structural thing. You have to shift around a little bit. It could be fixed fairly easily, I guess.
Yeah, just take out the entire part, and then just focus on carrying on.
Well, yeah. Sometimes you got to do that. There have been times when I've been writing and I had a whole chapter, and then I'm just like, this whole chapter just does not fit. It's just like tangenting off somewhere, and I had to just cut the whole thing, even though I liked a lot of parts of it. And then later on, I did, parsed it out as I needed it. But yeah, I've dropped entire chapters that were like 30 pages long before, and they just went somewhere else because they're of no use.
So the problem here is it's pretty much close to the end of I was writing. I mean, this is the reason I'm only up to like chapter 5 because of this. Because you sit there, you read this after you wrote it down. It's like, but this doesn't work.
Well,
Delete, start over.
And did you do an outline of how many chapters do you expect for the novel or novella?
Like I say, at this point in time, I'm just writing on the pace of short stories.
Oh, okay. So
the original idea was around 7 shorts just to introduce the whole story and the whole massive conflict that'll come from this.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I get that. I like vignettes. That's basically how I've written Little Girl Lethal's novelization. Is everything's in vignettes that kind of fit together like a puzzle work. I kind of grabbed that from Sin City a little bit, and from like Pulp Fiction, and a lot of things are non-linear, but they do fit together once everything's in their places.
Yes, Sin City was quite good. I like that.
Yeah, and again, like those are very standalone. Like each one of those stories could just be, and that's what I'd like to do with each episode that I'm gonna write. Well, the first one is like that, and then they'd be off these vignettes that I've done. I would hope that they stand alone, but as the episodes progress, they have an arc that you start to see. But if you were to grab one of the episodes out by themselves, you could just read it and have a nice little good time with that episode, and then be done with it.
Yeah, I mean, what you've read is pretty much how I've written these as well. It's each one could be very well a story on its own, but there is an overarching narrative that ties it all together.
Yeah, that makes sense. Hey, Ninja, do you write?
I am actually, and mostly, I mean, I kind of tried to write my own story for basic shits and giggles and do it online. I did get plenty of feedback from my family and some people online here. I had an idea, because I'm not a writer. I can come up with fun ideas, but I find that I tend to leave a lot of plot holes or write myself into corners, or like, oh, I don't know, like, all the, best ideas for somebody's backstory or a good, powers thing. Being that I think in picture, basically, I can get a bunch of cool visuals and action scenes, and I can say, oh, well, I can come up with this character, right? Why? What is his motivation? Oh, I got to think about this. I'm not, it takes a long time for me to write stuff out, where I can illustrate pretty good. Yeah, I don't know that my writing is the greatest. I mean,
Well,
I tend to write very tropey. I'll write my characters.
I totally write in tropes. You can see that my main character is a very big trope. Tropes aren't necessarily a bad thing. I think that I'm going to be honest with you about writing in general. Writing is, like anything, a skill, and some people are born with kind of an innate talent that over time gets they can either sharpen it or it gets dulled because they don't use it. Like drawing, I've known several people, that amazing artists that didn't do anything with it, and that just every now and again they do a doodle, and then other people born with slightly less talent, but they push themselves and they train their brain, and then all of a sudden they're doing these amazing drawings and amazing paintings and stuff. The same thing happens with writing, and also it has to do with confidence as well. Now, I'm not saying you should be overly confident, but you should say to yourself,
yeah.
I've got a good idea. Let's see how I can play around with the idea. I mean, and you can get like a collaborator and bounce it off that person. That you can flesh out your story and the backstory and the character's power set and the motivations and all that.
Truth be told, your friendly neighborhood ninja is not my first character that I've ever come up with. I actually have. Oh man. My best friend and I have been working on a comic that I can't really talk too much about because he is reluctant to come online and help me showcase it, and he's been kind of slow to write anything for me because he has a better knack for writing down the jokes that we come up with from the day to day, right, and putting those down on paper. Now I have a tendency to forget how those went, and I'm like, what was that joke again? So I can't, I have a harder time putting the funny down than he does. He can come up with a funny scenario, bam, like that.
That's a skill, by the way. That's a really
I tend to like to do I don't know. I always get caught up in the action aspect of things because that's when I'm, my mind goes there. What's my superhero doing? Well, let me get to the action part. That's what I constantly seem to go with my writing. So there's very little dialogue in the stuff that I've written. For instance, like I have a scene in my comic where your friendly neighborhood ninja's running down the street and stops to help an old lady cross the street, right? The only thing I could think of was, the line was, hey, how's it going today? And the old lady says, my, what a handsome young man, because he's not wearing his mask or nothing. And after he gets her across the street, he's like, well, I've got to be on the way. And the old lady has got the word ball in her head and saying, if I was only 20 years younger. I mean, that's kind of funny, but it's not funny enough to carry a story the entire time. Like, I don't know that I don't feel comfortable continuously writing my own dialogue. Because I don't think I'm funny enough to write dialogue. I have to get the joke in there.
Again, it's
satirically.
It is there is when it comes to writing comedy, there's kind of a formula to it, and then after a little while, it's kind of like a muscle memory. You once you've got it in there, it'll kind of work for you. You know what I mean? It's a skill that you can kind of cultivate. Some people are kind of born with it, or they have a family that kind of encourages like them to be funny. And I'm not one of those people that off the cuff. I'm not glib. You know what I mean? I tend to be a little more sardonic, but I can write comedy in the sense that I can work the formula and play with the words, and then I can mess around with things. But when it comes off my tongue, it's not as easy, and I get you right there. I totally do. So what I would say is, like, think about things as setups and payoffs. Basically, it's that simple. You set up the situation, you look for the ridiculousness, and then you pay it off. And then sometimes it's kind of like a little twist, and that's usually how you can get a little bit of humor. And then another thing is like repetition. You can repeat the same joke over and over, just slightly tweaked every time throughout your story. And then by the end, it'll get you a good chuckle or a good laugh, because it'll build. You know what I mean? Those are some simple rules. I mean, and those can be looked up online. There's a lot about writing. I mean, and again, this is something that you have to cultivate, just like when you draw. Now, I have some artistic skill, some artistic ability, but it's never been honed. And so when I try to do stuff, it's kind of haphazard. Like the anatomy's a little wonky, and shading and how the light source works and all that other business and perspective, but it's enough that people are like, hey, there's something there. But for me to build that, the whole 10,000 hours thing, I have other things I have to deal with, so I don't have the time to do 10,000 hours, especially at my age. But it's the same. The same thing with writing applies. The more you do it, the better you get. The more you, and again, I don't know how much you read. Reading helps a lot when it comes to writing. I mean, so if you wanted to do comic books, you should read the best comic books. You know what I mean? And see how they do things, how they address them. And if you wanted to see good comedy, go back and look at the old SpiderMan comics, where he is just quipping constantly.
That's what I basically was raised on, is him constantly bantering with his villains, like getting that one-liner in.
It's some of the best that's ever been done. I mean, and it's all gone today, to me, in my opinion. I don't see it hardly at all.
Yeah. Well, I am truth be told, I have not picked up a Marvel title, I picked up a couple of DC ones, but I haven't picked up a Marvel title since like 2016. And it's only gotten worse since then. I think it was like Free Comic Book Day, right? And it was like they brought Captain America back, right? And I was looking at the cover, and I was like, that's not Captain America. And this is after Disney bought, the company. And as soon as I saw that in Wizard magazine when I was younger, I knew it was going to be bad. Something told me deep inside, and I've just been watching that just crumble.
Yeah.
And, what is Marvel? And I cannot feel comfortable purchasing anything from them with the way they treat us as fans. I mean, I have thousands and thousands of dollars invested in that company.
Yeah, you and me both, man.
And they gonna turn around and talk crap on us because they destroyed the characters that we love.
Yeah. You
destroy the characters that we pay for, and then you turn around and call us terrible, terrible names. And then when we decide, screw this, we're just going to do our own thing, you down. Instead of being like, okay, fine, we apologize for the mistreatment of our fans. No, they're not doing that. And until we get a formal apology from these guys, I cannot buy anything from them. I can't.
Well, I don't know if we're ever going to get a formal apology, But
Well,
I have a hope. This is my hope that someday there'll be a change in leadership and in direction, and the old characters will come back. That's my hope. I don't have a great hope of that. I think that there might be a dissolution of Marvel, and then what we know is the creative engine that it was. I don't know if it'll still be there. But, you know...
Well, here's a theory I've got. With the way Marvel has been farming out titles to IDW, right? Isn't IDW a subdivision of DC? Or aren't they kind of owned by DC or something like that?
I'm not sure the relationship there. But
Well, it's
IDW,
just very... Yeah?
I can quickly look that up.
What? Oh, you're looking.
Tank's looking up IDW. But my theory is, and this is another thing, with the way that Bendis tweets about Marvel characters constantly. I follow Bendis, and he's constantly tweeting out stuff about Marvel characters. And Mark Waid, the other day, tweeting them himself out in a Flash jacket, right? I think that we're going to see these two companies merge together into one at some point soon. Because they're both...
Sorry?
Yeah?
Sorry about that, Ninja.
Oh, go ahead.
IDW is the 5th largest publisher in the States. They formed itself back in 1999. The reason why, I think, my theory, why they are doing this, Marvel are filming out to them, because currently there are more guys over at IDW doing a bit more creative things. So I think this is Marvel trying to, farming their titles out to guys who are actually still partially selling. Because the bean counters have to be noticing that they're over shipping and they're not getting any return on the shipping anymore. So I think what's happening here is them trying to kind of stem the bleeding a little bit.
That might be.
That's my theory.
I always thought that IDW was its own company, traded separately. But I mean, I don't know the relationship to other mega corporations. It may. I mean, Time Warner, Viacom, all that. I don't know. I'm not sure how they're hooked in, but I do know that I don't want to spend money on floppies, like single issues. If I hear that there's a good run and I can flip through it, in a trade, I may think about picking up a trade in the future. I don't know. But most of the floppies I've seen are the quality of art. For the one thing you can say about DC is their art's still standing up pretty good. All right, and I do like that. I've really enjoyed certain artists and certain stories a lot from DC. Surprisingly so, because I was never really a huge DC guy. But when I get into Marvel, the art doesn't excite me. I don't have a good time looking at it. And that's not just because it's not sexy anymore. It's just banal, in my opinion. They've lost.
It's like they went downhill so far. Like I'm looking at it and I'm like, wow, this is what it takes to get into Marvel. It's not talent. It's definitely who you know or what your beliefs are.
Right.
Your political beliefs, I mean. I
do know that there are a few of their artists that are, doing their best. But again, I think that they're put under such time constraints. Such monetary constraints. I think that a lot of their enthusiasm for the art is lacking as well. I think that is showing. It's telling, as our friend Tug would say, about what's going on over there, and it's kind of sad, considering. But they're going to reap what they sow, and they are already in many ways. And I think that there might be a continued if these books that are coming out right now are delivered and there's a groundswell of support from consumers, and all of a sudden there's this kind of awakening among the consumers that there is another way to get the type of things they like among this kind of niche hobby and thing we love. I think that there's going to be an avalanche of creators coming from the other places because they'll see money. That's going to be make the playing field a little different for us kind of young guns and people who are trying to do smaller things. But maybe it'll make
Heck yeah.
maybe it'll rise all boats, as they say. You know, maybe the tide will come in, this tidal wave, and we'll all get something with it. That may happen. I don't know. I'm trying to read the lay of the land of lately, and I'm trying to find a way to navigate to make at least my property and the properties of my friends successful. And it's kind of a game. It's just, strategic and tactical. And I'm not trying to sound like some sort of war, but we talk about the culture war a lot of times. I think the culture war is out there, but I think we got to play the game smarter than just screaming and hollering about the things we hate, because we can create things that we love. And if you love things, holy cow, is your passion going to be far more than if you hate something, in my opinion. You'll want to protect it.
Oh my goodness, yes.
You want to
and this is something, this is something that I started out as, basically just trying to, I was just a fan, essentially, and I joined Twitter and I kept seeing these awesome projects coming up, these new ones, like, for instance, Jack Irons, and then I got on seeing them promoting it on somebody's live stream, and I saw, like, Spork Man, and I saw you on there, and I saw, like, all these individual, comics that are coming out, and I was just like, wow, I have something to believe in again. I have a new hope for comics, something I can pass down to my kids, because I sure as hell can't take them to the comic shop now. For one, there isn't one anymore. The comic shop that was around, unfortunately, was in a shopping mall, and the shopping mall closed down, so
Yeah,
I don't know where they are.
A lot of retail spaces are closing. I see that a lot. The two malls that we have here are having the same issue. You walk down these massive structures, and half the stores are empty because online selling is kind of taking them out. And the same thing goes like around. I'm lucky around here in my valley where I live here on the Wasatch Front in Utah, has four of the same. They're the same business. They're all called the Dragon's Keep, and there's four of them. And they kind of have diversified. They work mostly in gaming, but they have a big section of comics in every one of their stores because they still love comics. There's a lot of passion for them. And one of Brad Ashford, the guy doing the Handyman, I don't know if you've seen that book out there. He's one of the managers of those stores, and he's skilled in his art, and he's a good guy. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he puts out. But there's a lot of people around the country. I think that if they could hear what everybody is in the kind of this community, and I use the word community and use the word set, but I think it's beyond just the pros that have come over. I mean, there's the passion and the artistry and the innovative ideas are really coming to the fore with what I would call us young guns, us new blood, and we're going to be pushing these pros. We're going to be jumping up, and they're going to have to listen to us because we're good. We have good ideas. We have good visuals. We have good stories, and we're going to make something of it. And there's an audience out there who wants to buy it. And it's not just. I think it's beyond just quote unquote Comicsgate and surrounding satellite groups. I think that there's a much larger market out there if we can just tap into it. If we can just get the eyeballs and the ears. I really have a belief that a lot of people will love what we got to give them.
Oh my, yeah! True comics fans are going to look at Little Girl Lethal and they're going to be like, "Yeah, I want this."
I hope so.
Even not people that have never seen comics before going to look at Little Girl Lethal because, for one, you've got an awesome artist, an original idea for the story, because I've actually followed it pretty close. All right? And, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go in. I know that Little Girl Lethal had some devious past, some demons and stuff, tried to have their whatevers. And, she's getting her vengeance back, and, like, that's a pretty interesting story. Like, I kind of need to know what the rest of the story is. And you know, I see in a couple of panels, she's walking down the street and the guy's crashing his lawnmower into the thing because, yeah, I mean, that's going to be every guy who's watching her walk past. I mean, it's just to me, it's a fun comic story that is perfect.
Well,
and
it does
you know
get,
what,
it
the
does get
creator
dark.
isn't. Well, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
So, because I mean, Spawn is one of my favorite comics of all time. I mean, that's a pretty dark comic itself, right there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can dig it. I mean, not necessarily that I'm going to be like, oh, kids, come around while we read Sugar Lightspeed.
Well, yeah, there's a definite like I am going to put on the cover. This is for mature audiences. I don't want children to read this. See, I've had actually conversations. Well, would you like to make a children's version? And the thing is that because there is such an adult version, I don't want to make a children's version that might tempt them to read it. You know what I mean?
Really.
I might make within the Lost Peaks universe another character that would be more kid friendly, but that would be. I'd like to keep that separate. I don't want children reading things that are for adults. You know, that's not cool. Again, like you get to be a teenager, kids are going to do what they're going to do because that's how they are. But when it comes to young children, I don't want to entice young children. And so a lot of times when I see, like, we've done our kind of cutesy little things, they're cutesy, but I would never put those out there to, like, say, hey, kids, come read this. Because that's not cool.
I know.
That's just not cool. Hey, somebody jumped in here with us. Who is that?
Hello.
Hi.
This is Comic Rust. How you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
Doing good. So what are we talking about?
Well, we're talking for a little bit more. My battery on my laptop is about 14%. So we're just talking, well, the market and writing and art and how, you know, how our kind of we're kind of outside the kind of the pro sphere currently. That's in the Comicsgate circles. And we're not. I don't consider myself like hardcore Comicsgate. I'm like Comicsgate adjacent, as Edwin says.
I'm neutral too, dude. Trust me, you're not the only one.
Right. Well, I've seen some behavior within Comicsgate that I find suspect. Even with some of the pros, it's not that I don't agree with them on many topics. I just don't agree with some of the rhetoric sometimes. But I'm far more aligned with them than I would say neo-socialists, Marxists, and people get upset when I say that. But I'm a student of history. I know what they are, and so I try to stay with people that I'm more aligned with. But again, like whenever they say, you know, we're Comicsgate, sometimes it feels a little bit tribalistic, and it makes me a little bit nervous. Because you get really tribalistic and you start to do things, and I'm not going to point any fingers as to who some of the things have done, but we all know what's gone down.
Oh yeah, and you know, it's what's weird is I just find it ironic that a bunch of comic book pros are going after some old guy with a cell phone that does videos, and I'm like, wow, this is a really messed up industry if this is how far we've become.
I mean, look, and the pros that are on our side of kind of the argument, I see what they've risked. I really do. I mean, I left an industry essentially because I didn't want to deal with the shit anymore, and it was taxing, and it was toxic, and so like I didn't try anymore to delve into it. So I get what they're risking, and they have families and things that you know, I totally